This meeting is called to order in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act. This meeting was included in a list of meeting dates sent to the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, and the Highland Park Planet on January 7th, 2016, and was posted on the bulletin board of Borough Hall, 221 South 5th Avenue on January 7th, 2016, and has remained continuously posted as required by law. Fire exits are to my left and to my right. If you come up to speak, please speak into the microphones, and assistive listening devices are available. Mrs. Bickard, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mayor Borough-Mittler?
Here.
Councilman Erickson?
Here.
Councilman Fine?
Here.
Councilwoman Foster Dublin?
Here.
Councilman George?
Here.
Councilman Walsh?
Here.
Councilwoman Welkowitz?
Here.
Borough Administrator Kovac?
Here.
Borough Attorney Schmier?
Here.
Okay. I don't see anyone from Main Street here, so
Madam Mayor, I can.
do you want to hold it for your report?
I will, thank you.
Okay. Council reports, then we'll start with Councilman Walsh and go right into you, Councilman George, so we can get right on the Main Street minute after Councilman Walsh.
Great. Thank you very much, Mayor. I just wanted to thank everybody who helped make this month's senior luncheon a great success, and remind people to mark the calendar for the next one, should be happening March 18th at 11:30 a.m. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman George.
Yes, Mayor, just briefly, with regard to Main Street, I had an opportunity to meet with their design committee last week. They did not have any applications, but we were able to discuss several matters of concern concerning the design committee's work for Main Street. Also, with regard to Main Street, tomorrow night at the board meeting, they will be having their consultant in for another training session.
Okay.
They're moving forward. I will be there tomorrow night at 5:30. It is an open meeting so that members of the public are welcome. In addition, with regard to some of the other projects, I thank you for getting the resolution forming the parking review group, which will be on tonight. Once that's done, the membership will be finalized, and I'm really hoping we start our work early March.
Great. And thank you for taking that on. It's very important to the borough.
Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Erickson.
Briefly, tonight on the agenda, the Community Development Block Grant Advisory Committee has submitted their financial request. It's primarily in the area of social services, and they've held a public hearing briefly before this meeting this evening. That's all.
Thank you. Councilwoman Foster Dublin.
I have no public safety report, but I would like to say that this month we celebrate Black History Month, or African American History Month. And it's one of those important landmarks in our country where we celebrate the achievements of African Americans in the U.S., and that started by Charles Woodson in 1976. So it has been celebrated since 1976, and I just want to say Happy Black History Month to all.
Thank you. Councilman Fine.
I do not have a report this evening, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Borough Administrator, Council President.
Thanks, Mayor. Just a few quick things. We were just awarded $6,500 from the National Trail Grants, and these are to be used by our volunteers to help maintain the wonderful Meadows trails down by Valentine and South 5th, and also our river trails over by River Road by our Environmental Commission. Thanks to Steve Barnes of our Environmental Commission, who put through the application, and to Craig Ambrose and the 14-member crew who regularly work hard to maintain our meadows and river trails. And if you haven't already done so, as the weather gets warmer, please take the time and enjoy some time down in our wonderful trails. On March 8th at 7 p.m. at the library, Seal Power will be doing another informative presentation on our new Smart Homes program. This is the energy efficiency program that we're offering. We did it a few years ago, and now we've started again. For a very discounted rate of only $49. Seal Energy will provide a very comprehensive energy audit of your home, then review that with you and go over various incentives, tax incentives, and low-interest financing for you to take advantage of renovations or upgrades to your home. So please join us again on March 8th at 7 p.m. in the library for more information on the program. You may also go to sealpower.com, click on the link to Highland Park, and there's more information online. And lastly, again with our Sustainable Highland Park group, this Thursday, February 18th at 7:30, we're having a kickoff meeting hosted by Terry Hover, chairwoman of our Sustainable Highland Park group. We will be endeavoring to recertify ourselves for silver level with Sustainable Jersey. This is a prestigious level of recognition, and being part of Sustainable Jersey and achieving this level helps us out in other grant opportunities that we can take advantage of. The meeting, we've invited council members, committee members, and chairs to help us identify those initiatives that we've done borough-wide and that can help us meet and quantify our goals to meet that level of certification. So that is this Thursday, February 18th at 7:30 at the Rec Center. Thank you.
Thank you. Borough Administrator, do you have a report?
No report, Mayor.
Okay, Borough Attorney?
No report, Madam Mayor.
All right, I have a couple of things to go over. I do want to also add to what Council President Welkowitz said about the sustainability meeting for Thursday evening. Sustainability in Highland Park is not only environmental sustainability, it also includes economic sustainability and sustainable, making Highland Park sustainable and ongoing into the future. So we're hoping that we have a large turnout from members of all the committees and commissions in the borough to participate in this very, very important endeavor. I do want to remind everyone, this Sunday is our third annual Park Partners voting session. We have some wonderful grant opportunities for residents. As you know, our Park Partners program is our tax give-back program to our residents. There are 5 areas in which different grants are being presented, projects are being presented. Please turn out to vote for the top 5 that you think should be awarded. Each winning grant proposal gets $2,000 to make their projects happen within the next year to 18 months. So please make sure to come to the Rec Center here on South 6th Avenue on Sunday at 3 p.m. to participate and exercise your right to help decide on how some of our money is spent here in Highland Park. Finally, last week, we had an excellent meeting with members of the Department of Transportation to address safety issues on Upper Raritan. I think the meeting went very well. The acting commissioner of the DOT and about 3 or 4 members of his department joined us. I also invited Mayor Lanke to join us. He came with his chief of police, and our Captain Golden was there, and our borough engineer, Bruce Koch, was with us at that meeting. I presented them with about 7 or 8 options of safety features we would like to see them pursue on both an immediate and longer-term basis. They also offered some suggestions of their own, and I think we're moving in the right direction, and we will be staying on top of them for further progress, and I'll report on that. All right, that's all I have. Any public discussion? Tara, please come up and say your name and where you live.
Tara Canavera, 361C, Crowles Road, Highland Park.
Is the microphone on? Okay.
A few families came to me because they know I don't mind speaking. And it has to do with the Recreation Department.
Excuse me, could you speak up a little bit so I can just about hear you?
If you speak closer to the microphone, it'll be...
How about now?
That's
Okay, sorry. It's about the rec department. First, I'd like to say that the low-income families in town appreciate the fact that they do get a discount when they register their children. The problem is that a lot of times they're waiting to get the money and they miss the cutoff, and the late fee is $15 per child. And even if you aren't low income and you have 3 or 4 children that you're registering, that's a big expense. So we were wondering if the board would consider making it a $15 per family late fee rather than per child.
So Tara, I'm going to refer this to Councilman Walsh, who is your council liaison to our Recreation Department. And Councilman Walsh, if you can discuss that with
Yeah, I'll
the
follow up
rec director and also the borough administrator, so we can come up with a plan, and let's announce whatever we come up with at the next meeting.
Sure. And can would you be able to give me your contact information too, so I can follow up with any questions or anything I have?
Yep,
Great. Thank you.
you're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks, Tara. Any other public discussion?
My name is Herb Gross from Adelaide Gardens. Madam Mayor, repeatedly I've asked you to name the citation that you said was issued in this First Avenue fiasco, the whole sidewalk affair. Tonight I am asking you for the last time, will you please name the person that you issued the citation to?
Mr. Gross, thank you for bringing that up again. Last council meeting, Mr. Scott Brescher was here to speak with you about that. As he mentioned, there was a letter sent to the person who owns the property and is responsible for the sidewalk. I believe he told you the name of the person. I don't have it offhand, but I'm going to ask the borough administrator if she has more information for you.
My understanding, I just got back into the office after being gone for 2 weeks, and I was given an update by Mr. Brescher this morning about your concerns, and he told me the gentleman's name, that's all he knows, his name is Sam. He was given, you and Mr. Brescher went out to the sidewalks, and you reviewed them, and there was one sidewalk that was questionable, that this gentleman said that even though it's in compliance, he's going to replace it, and that a letter was sent to him by the prior code enforcement individual who's no longer with us, who's no longer with the borough. So that's the only answer I have. And my understanding from Mr. Brescher was, Mr. Gross, was that all your questions were answered.
No.
What was the
all
answer,
my
sir?
questions were not answered. Again, Madam, I repeat, all I want to know is who the citation was issued to.
There wasn't a
I want the name
citation.
of the person.
Sir, there was no citation. It was a letter of warning.
No, excuse me. The mayor of Highland Park, right here in this room, before the TV camera, before the TV audience, the whole state of New Jersey, the residents of Highland Park heard her say that a citation was issued. So please don't question me on that.
Mr. Gross, what I'm hearing is that the information we received originally about it being a citation was incorrect. It is a letter of warning that went out, not a citation, a letter of warning.
Well, you're the one that said the citation was issued. I didn't say it.
No, of course not. It did come to me that way. I got some wrong information, but Mr. Brescher corrected that in the last meeting, that it was not a specific citation, but a letter of warning that went out. And I'm told that this gentleman, I think the borough administrator said his name was Sam, is planning on repairing it as soon as the spring comes, which we're hoping will be in the not-too-distant future.
I want to be very clear about the sidewalk, sir.
You keep saying, you said it, and this other member of the council said it, this person's name is Sam. I don't know who Sam is. Does Sam have a last name and an address?
Not off the top of my head, I don't have that information.
Do
Mr.
you have
Brescher,
this information, Madam Mayor?
No.
sir, my question, I want to be very clear about one thing. The sidewalk that this gentleman said he's going to repair was not in violation.
Yes, it is in
Well,
violation.
according to Mr. Brescher, it's not. And Mr. Brescher did go to him and mention to him that it was questionable. So the gentleman, Mr. Sam, is going to replace it when the spring comes. I don't understand.
What is this person, Sam, going to replace? There are 12 blocks of sidewalk, plus all the shrubbery.
The shrubbery is not in violation. It does not impede the sidewalk. That's what I was told by Mr. Brescher today, that it does not impede the walking of the sidewalk.
So I think the best thing...
Why can't you have this person, Sam, here at the meeting?
For what purpose, sir?
Whoever he is, I have no idea.
Whoever he is, he did agree to fix the questionable slabs of sidewalk, and I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Borough Attorney, I believe we use a half-inch as the measurement. The law says that if there's a half-inch or more that is up, then the sidewalk has to be repaired.
There are 12 blocks of sidewalk that are cracked and uprooted. This is in violation. A person, excuse me, madam, a person visiting Highland Park, maybe at nighttime, is walking up to see his relatives or friends and takes a fall over the sidewalks that are uprooted. Now, please don't tell me that my eyesight isn't that good. My eyesight's very good. These 12 blocks of sidewalk are uprooted and they're cracked.
So Mr. Gross, my suggestion, and I've said this before, when Mr. Brescher went out, and I think you were with him.
Didn't you go and meet with Mr. Brescher and walk the property with him?
I beg your pardon?
Did you meet with Mr. Brescher and he walked the property with you and you discussed all this?
He has his version of your ordinance, and I have my version of all these blocks of sidewalk that are in question.
Yeah.
I've asked you repeatedly who you issued the citation to. You have no idea.
Sir, there was no
member of this
citation
council
issued.
has no idea.
There was no
So,
citation
Mr.
issued.
Gross, your objective is to make sure the sidewalk is safe, right?
Right? My point of view in this whole matter is that these 12 blocks that are in question, that I am up here at each meeting trying to find out who is responsible, who is going to replace the 12 blocks of sidewalk.
Okay, so I'm going to say one more time that the law says if it's a half-inch or more, it has to be repaired. And so Mr. Brescher did go out and measure each one of these, and there was, I don't know how many, where...
There are 12 blocks of sidewalk.
I know, but I'm talking about the ones that fall within the law, which is a half-inch or more. The law says they have to be repaired. So he did identify with measurements those that are a half an inch or more, and those, or that one, I'm not sure of the quantity, are going to be replaced by the landowner as soon as the spring comes. And that's the best I can give you right now. And he will, I'm sure, reach out to you once it's completed.
Well, this is the best you can do. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Any other public comment? All right, Clerk, would you report on advertising the building construction ordinance amendment for consideration of passage on final reading by title?
An ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Highland Park, Chapter 135, Building Construction, was duly advertised for consideration of passage on final reading by title, and affidavits of publication are on file. The ordinance was posted and made available for public inspection as required by law.
May I have a motion to take up the ordinance on final reading by title?
Motion to take up ordinance on final reading by title.
Second.
Okay. public hearing. Mrs. Bickard? Okay, could you just, I'm sorry to make you do this, but I need to have you go up to the microphone and state your name and address.
I'll stay here because I have
Okay.
Ruth Bickard, 307 Magnolia Street. Can you explain what this building construction ordinance is?
Yes. Would you like me to do that?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay, yes, thank you, Mrs. Bickart. We've done a review of some of our construction fees, and across the board, we've realized that we haven't raised fees since 2007 or 2009, and in order to bring us more in line to not only what other communities, neighboring communities, charge for construction fees, but also to periodically, as we review fees, to make sure that we're not running into a negative number in our department. So there's a minimum fee for construction. The minimum fee was $60, and we're going to raise that to $75. And there's a few others. A certificate of occupancy for new construction, which will be based now more on the percentage of the total permit cost. And also there are housing certificate of occupancy fees, which will be increased as well.
And this is part of Council President Welkowitz's efforts to stay on top of our costs and expenses.
Okay, thank you.
Mrs. Bickard, do you want to sit in the front row? Okay. May I have a resolution to adopt or reject and advertise the ordinance on final reading by title?
Motion to adopt?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Erickson?
Yes.
Councilman Fine?
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster Dublin?
Yes.
Councilman George?
Yes.
Councilman Walsh?
Yes.
Councilwoman Welkowitz?
Yes.
Okay. Clerk, can you report on introduction of the Administration of Governance Ordinance Amendment for consideration of passage on first reading by title?
An ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Highland Park, Chapter 3, Administration of Government, has been introduced in writing by the council as a whole for consideration of passage on first reading by title.
May I have a motion to adopt or reject and advertise the ordinance on first reading by title?
Motion to adopt?
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilman Erickson?
Yes.
Councilman Fine?
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster Dublin?
Yes.
Councilman George?
Yes.
Councilman Walsh?
Yes.
Councilwoman Welkowitz?
Yes.
Clerk, would you report on introduction of the traffic ordinance amendment for consideration of passage on first reading by title?
An ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Highland Park. Chapter 7, Traffic, has been introduced in writing by the Public Safety Committee for consideration of passage on first reading by title.
Okay. May I have a motion to adopt or reject and advertise the ordinance on first reading by title?
Motion to adopt?
Second.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Councilman Erickson?
Yes.
Councilman Fine?
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster Dublin?
Yes.
Councilman George?
Yes.
Councilman Walsh?
Yes.
Councilwoman Welkowitz?
Yes.
I'm going to read off all of the consent agenda items as one. Okay. May I have a motion to adopt the following stored items? Resolution 2/1676 through Resolution 2/1687.
So moved.
Second.
Sorry, I don't understand what you're doing here.
Okay, I lumped all of these together
Oh, okay.
by just reading off the numbers of the first one through the last one.
Okay.
And then we need a motion, which we got.
For each one? For each single one?
No, for the whole.
I understand.
Okay. All right, roll call, please.
Councilman Erickson?
Yes.
Councilman Fine?
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster Dublin?
Yes.
Councilman George?
Yes.
Councilman Walsh?
Yes.
Councilwoman Welkowitz?
Yes.
All right. I am appointing the following people to the Parking Review Task Force: Marshall Levinson, Jeff Ackerman, Paul Linares, Lieutenant Gary Panicella, Don Risch, and Scott Brescher. May I have a motion to confirm?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Erickson?
Yes.
Councilman Fine?
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster Dublin?
Yes.
Councilman George?
I look forward to working with these people on the group. Mayor, thank you very much for the opportunity. Yes.
Councilman Walsh?
Yes.
Councilwoman Welkowitz?
Yes.
Okay. Public discussion.
Now I'd like some clarification.
You need to say your name and address again.
Ruth Bickard, 307 Magnolia.
Okay.
Number 13, construction of a teen center. Where, what, and why, and how?
Okay, so for these many, many years, our teens have not had a place to call their own after school. Originally, when our rec and senior center was conceived, it was to be a place to be shared by both our teens and our seniors. The truth of the matter is, the seniors have taken over that building, and our teens really had no place to go. And so, after meetings with people in our communities over the last couple of years, one thing that became very clear to us was that parents of our teenagers were looking for a safe place for them to be, and also where members of our police community could have some contact with them in a very positive way. And so back, I guess it's 2 years ago, I want to say, the council voted on creating a new teen center and a program that would be one that would incorporate not only activities for our teens, but an opportunity to interface with our youth officer, Officer Joe Curbello, in a very positive way. And this is something that we heard parents in the community asking us for. And so there was an opportunity to have a piece of property that's on the corner of South 6th and Benner, which is right diagonally across from where the rec center, senior rec center is, as an opportunity for our teenagers to have a home of their own. There is a program, we have a group putting together a program of activities, and Officer Curbello is involved in that as well. Actually, Councilwoman Foster Dublin can talk to that as well. It falls in her area. And I'm hoping that it will be open and running by the start of the next school year.
Good.
Councilwoman Foster Dublin, do you want to add to that?
The program is going to be similar to, years ago, this was quite popular all over, was a PAL system, a community, a police activity league with the community, with young people in the community, and they became buddies, and it was like a buddy system. So we're not doing quite that, but it's an opportunity for the latchkey kids, because there are many programs for after school for younger kids, but for kids that fall between the age of 12 to 17 or 18, in our school system, there's no place for them to go. So this is a place where the latchkey kids, so to speak, can go, and they'll have activities, and they'll have different opportunities to do different things. It's a safe place for them to stay until it's time for them to go home. And incorporated with that, we will have our officer that will be working closely with them, similar to what the officer do with our community policing officer. He rides around on a bike, he stops, he talks, he have conversations and dialogue with the young people. So this is an extended way of doing it while providing the young people with a safe, secure environment. So we're hoping that this coming September we'll be able to open that facility, and they'll have a safe, secure, warm place to go.
That's good. That's what my children had in the 40s and 50s.
Exactly, and most of them were Police Athletic League, where they had an opportunity to go, and it was a safe place for kids. So we're trying to create that here for those kids that they don't go home directly. There's no one at home. There's a place for them to go that's safe and secure.
Mine went to school in split sessions because in New Brunswick, there wasn't enough. I'm concerned, I hear rumors that you want to close the library and relocate it. Can you?
Yes, so Councilman George, would you like to address that since you are the liaison to the Redevelopment Agency?
Yes, I will, Mayor. Ms. Baker, I know that there's a lot of rumors, there's a lot of misinformation, there's a lot of just plain old missing information, but here's what's going on. A developer, some time ago, more than a year ago now, approached the Highland Park Redevelopment Agency about the possibility of developing some of the property that's in the redevelopment zone on Raritan Avenue. And one of the discussions that the developer thought was a good idea would be that they would give to the municipality, to the library, space to relocate the library to that development, which would start on the north side of Raritan from North 2nd down towards First. And in exchange, there was a proposal that the library would be exchanged so that the developer could put in some type of housing. Now, that being said, that is at the stage of what we call a conditional redevelopment plan with the Redevelopment Agency. It's not before the borough at this time, the planning board, the zoning board, or anybody else. A conditional plan simply means that the Redevelopment Agency won't take in other plans or ideas while that one developer tries to talk to the property owners to see if they're interested in selling. And again, the library proposal was just one of several proposals that they came up with. And it is currently, the developer is having whatever discussions with the property owners. Eventually, should they ever be able to acquire all the properties, they would still have to come back for a public hearing, at least one, if not more, in front of the Redevelopment Agency, and probably before the planning board or the zoning board, and before the municipality. So again, it's a very theoretical discussion. It is in a phase called the conditional redevelopment negotiations, and it has a long, long, long way to go, if it ever comes about at all.
And also, Mrs. Bickard, as things become less of a dream and perhaps more of a possible reality, any plans that the Redevelopment Agency has with this developer or any other developer will certainly be brought and presented to the public so they can see what is happening. Right now, if they choose, they can attend any of the Redevelopment Agency meetings to see what is being proposed.
What about the property across the street from this plot where you were talking about?
Yes. We would all love to see something happen there.
Yeah, I could see. I mean, I don't think that anything that requires a lot of into people going, like a library, where kids go and mothers go and so on Raritan Avenue, I don't think it's such a great idea. I like the idea. It's a little bit removed from the traffic and all that. I think it's a little safer.
One of the issues is that our library, without having a community center, so to speak, the library has become sort of our community center. And fortunately or unfortunately, they have outgrown the space that they're in. And if it becomes necessary, if we wind up staying there, they have been looking into plans to enlarge the building, which would be very costly. Well, they haven't been, I don't know. Plus there's a parking issue there because so many people come to the library and there's no place to park, and, the high school gets complaints all the time about the kids making too much noise there. So, we'll have to see how this all progresses.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing none, may I have a motion to adjourn to conference?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Meeting is adjourned.